Uh, yes, brilliant. You should be able to share it now, Mataji.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I have it. So, can I start?
Yes, please go ahead, Mataji, please. Thank
Okay,
you.
sorry. New year, new shyness. Okay, so Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all glories to Guru Maharaj. Welcome for today's class. So we continue with Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Ajahara Shvamedam Strin Gangayam Buri Dakshinan Sharadvatam Gurum Kritva Devaya Shigochara. Srila Prabhupada's translation. Maharaj Parikshit, after having selected Kripacharya for guidance as his spiritual master, performed 3 horse sacrifices on the banks of the Ganges. These were executed with sufficient rewards for the attendants. And at these sacrifices, even the common man could see the demigods. Srila Prabhupada's purport. It appears from this verse that interplanetary travel by the denizens of higher planets is easy. In many statements in Bhagavatam, we have observed that the demigods from heaven used to visit this earth to attend sacrifices performed by influential kings and emperors. Herein, also we find that during the time of the horse sacrifice ceremony of Maharaj Parikshit, the demigods from other planets were visible even to the common man due to the sacrificial ceremony. The demigods are not generally visible to common man, as the Lord is not visible, but as the Lord, by his causeless mercy, descends to be visible to the common man. Similarly, the demigods also become visible to the common man by their own grace. Although celestial beings are not visible to the naked eyes of the inhabitants of this earth, it was due to the influence of Maharaj Parikshit that the demigods also agreed to be visible. The kings used to spend lavishly during such sacrifices as a cloud distributes rains. A cloud is nothing but another form of water, or in other words, the waters of the earth transform into clouds. Similarly, the charity made by the kings in such sacrifices was but another form of the taxes collected from the citizens. But as the rains fall down very lavishly and appear to be more than necessary, the charity made by such kings also seems to be more than what the citizens need. Satisfied citizens will never organize agitation against the king, and thus there was no need in changing the monarchical state. Even for a king like Maharaj Parikshit, there was a need of spiritual master for guidance. Without such guidance, one cannot make progress in spiritual life. The spiritual master must be bona fide, and one who wants to have self-realization must approach and take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master to achieve real success. Om Gyanati Mirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Candramauli Swami Niti Namine. So I have to admit, I'm always worried about these verses about Kshatriyas and their responsibilities and what are their qualifications. But anyway, I tried my best. And yeah, so this reminded me, actually, in the past month, I saw a very interesting comment on Facebook in one of the posts, and one person wrote that, yeah, you can see Maya Devi does her job well because all the people elected such and such politician. I don't want to go into that direction, so it's not really important who they are. But anyway, I was really, really surprised because, if we read Srila Prabhupada's books, he many times states that actually all the politicians in our so-called modern age, in Kali Yuga, they are actually not qualified for their position because nowadays almost everyone can be a politician. They just need to have enough votes, and that's it. But in Vedic times, there were really serious qualifications which needed to be fulfilled in order for someone to hold a position like this. And actually, when I read this comment, I was thinking that, oh, wow, Maya Devi really does her job well, because we think that if we elected someone else, that would be better. And my reason thinking that, one thing is that Srila Prabhupada also said that, so that's enough. But another thing is that I remember that once when I read how cities of demons, big demons like Ravana or Bali Maharaj or others, although Bali Maharaj is not the best example for that because he's a devotee. But anyway, so demon cities actually looked really nice. So all the citizens were quite wealthy. The cities were really beautiful and rich, and so in a material sense, it was nice to live there. But still, we know that it's not really good to follow their examples. Actually, my surprise was that once I compared two descriptions, one of Indra's city's description and the other demon's city description, and they were really similar, actually. So in that sense, whoever who gives us riches, that's enough for us. But we know that this shouldn't be enough. And it's a very good example if we think about Ravana, who had a very, very beautiful city. So he took Lanka island from his brother Kuvera, because it was such an attractive city. And what happened was that when he was leading the country, the city was nice, and at some point he had desire for Sita Devi, and he abducted her. And whatever reasons he heard for giving Sita back to Lord Ramachandra, he just didn't listen. Why? Because his own desires, were more important than the well-being of all the citizens. So he was willing to sacrifice all his country in order to have Sita Devi. And that's a big, big difference. So yeah, material wealth is nice, and they can achieve it. Even unqualified leaders can achieve that. But to keep that wealth, they are not able to, because they don't follow properly they follow the laws of karma because they have to, but they don't follow Vedic principles. So karma will just chastise them, and at some point they will lose everything because of their greed, because of their selfishness, because of their lack of self-control. So it's interesting to think about this, and in this verse, it's very interesting that actually we can see two different kinds of shelter in the same verse, because when we speak about leaders, when we speak about kings, and here Kripacharya as spiritual master, so this is actually shelter for those who are taken care of. It can be spiritual care, like in case of a spiritual master, or when it's about kings, sometimes in the worst scenario is just material care, but originally, according to Vedic principles, it should also be material care and spiritual care. Both is needed. So when someone takes a position like a leader, like a king, like a politician, like a spiritual master, it's always important that a leader is not a dictator, just force the other person to do what I want, what I think is best, but he's giving shelter. He's taking care of those who are in their care, and yeah, this many times we don't like being in shelter because we think that it restricts our freedom, and freedom is such an important for most of us, I think for all of us, but in different amount. I remember when COVID started, and very soon people started to fight each other, because there were those who wanted to wear the masks, who wanted to vaccinate themselves, and were angry at those who didn't do this. And there was the other group who were fighting with them that oh, our freedom is restricted, and why we have to follow these rules. And I remember at that time one Hungarian devotee had a very interesting video on YouTube about this. And at that time, I was so happy that, oh, okay, at last someone has a rational approach to all these fights between the people. And he actually said that, yeah, there are these main principles that what are important things for people, and some people prioritize safety, and some people prioritize freedom. And when that's restricted, then they are frustrated, and because they think the other group is endangering their freedom or their safety, that's why people fought so much. And we can see that, yeah, this really shows how important it is for us to be free. But we have to understand that when we are in shelter, it doesn't really restrict our freedom. It means that that someone who is more qualified or more powerful or has something more, I would say so, who is more qualified actually helps us in something which we are, in which sense we cannot properly take care of ourselves. Sorry, I phrased it a little bit difficult. So many times we think that, oh, we are free, that we can do whatever we want within our limited amount. And sometimes, we think that, okay, I will pay the necessary taxes and all the other things, and when I will go to the hospital, they will take care of me, or when I take my children to have proper education, they will get it, or when I pay for a flight on an airplane, they will carry me to wherever I would like to go, or I believe that the policeman will protect me from all the criminals, and And many times, because we call these things services, and we pay for them, we think that it's natural that it will happen, whatever we pay for. And actually, we are free to decide what will happen to us. But it's really not like that. I remember the last time, not last year, but the year before that, when we had the counselor meeting, not counselor, disciples meeting in the UK. Then I wanted to travel back to Hungary, and although I had my ticket, it was paid, and I arrived to the airport, and I just found out that my flight was cancelled, and I was free to go to Hungary, but in the end I couldn't. So I had to make extra arrangements. I got help from our dear God, sister, and brother, and that's it. I think I'm free to do whatever I want to, but in the end I'm not. So what can I do? Nothing really. So we need shelter, but it's really important what kind of shelter we take, and if those who are giving shelter, if they are qualified to give shelter, and we have to endeavor to have shelter, proper shelter. So if we check the qualifications of today's leaders, I'm not speaking only about politicians because there are so many types of leaders. And but we have this democracy lately, and somehow this mentality is there in everyone's value system, that everyone should have a opinion, everyone should be able to express opinion and make their decisions. But actually, and because of this, we very much underestimate the value of kingdoms. When there is someone in charge who can who, if he's properly qualified, can take care of all the citizens. Because in democracy, those who lead people, they are actually how to say, they have to represent people. And in kingdoms, the kings had to lead and protect and take care of the people. And this is a different approach, because if we have to represent the people, then it means that the best is when a Shudra is there in a position. But the Shudras are not qualified to lead. On the other hand, Kshatriyas are qualified to lead. So that's a big difference. And for someone to be qualified for a leader position, for a Kshatriya position, it means more thing, actually. One thing is that what is the person's nature? We know that there are all these varnas like Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and Brahmana. And we know that Kshatriyas are the leaders, but it doesn't mean that they are born as Kshatriya, but they have to have a Kshatriya's nature. And that's what I would like to share, because I have a big sheet about all the varnas. I hope you can see it. So when we speak about the Kshatriyas, please let me know if you don't properly see, because it's very small letters.
Can see it.
Okay. Okay. So when we speak about Kshatriyas, there are many different qualities qualifications which we can hear in the scriptures about them. So when we check out Bhagavad Gita in chapter 18, verse 43, we can see that Kshatriya's qualities are heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, and leadership. Also, there is a description about Kshatriyas in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 11, verse number 22. So, to be influential in battle, unconquerable, patient, challenging, and charitable, to control the bodily necessities. It's very interesting, because if someone cannot do this, then it's not proper. It's not possible to lead others, because my bodily necessities will always be more important than the others. To be forgiving, to be attached to the Brahminical nature, and to be always jolly and truthful. And yeah, so they are affected by they are mostly in the mode of passion. And yeah, their purpose, that's also important. So it's also in Srimad Bhagavatam, what are their activities. So study the Vedas, worship the deity, give charity, teach others. It was interesting, teach. Induce others to worship the deity, and although cannot accept charity, but may have taxes which citizens pay to them. But these are very, very vague descriptions about what they should do. And I very much liked Urmila Mataji. Some years ago, she gave a seminar called The Inner View. And also later on, she, with another Mataji, wrote a book called Career Dharma. And I very much liked her concept, because there were many practical aspects of someone's nature who has a Kshatriya nature, and also showed how it's important in their duties. So she said that communities need managers who protect the people and take care of them, and sort of like a parent. And this is very important, because if we think about our leaders in modern age, usually they don't act like like a parent. So they can manage people. They also they are motivated by fame, and they have a wider interest than the people of resources. This is refers to the Vaishyas. And because he has to overview not just one area of activities like agriculture, cow protection, or some other stuff, but he has to synchronize all these areas. So he has to think in a more abstract way. And his roles, he's organizing, protecting, maintaining peace, and redistributes resources. And so again here, heroic, reacts fast, clever, generous. And these are very practical aspects of someone's nature. And this is very important if someone would like to have this role. Also, Urmila Mataji spoke about what happens if another Varna fulfills the role of a Kshatriya. And well, it's a bit too much, but I won't go all through of these. But yeah, anyway, just one example. So if a Brahmana should fulfill the role of a Kshatriya, it's just not possible, because Brahmana's goal is renunciation, peace, forgiveness, and how to have proper jurisdiction if they just want to forgive to others, or how to fight a war with a neighboring country who attacks this country if they just want to have peace. So how to enforce law if they have this nature? So this is just one example, but if someone has different nature, then it just causes difficulties when they have to follow this kind of position, this kind of role. So they need to have the proper nature for a leader role, but also they need to have proper education for that. And mostly that's our problem in our modern age, that nobody has proper education. And because every role has their duties and their rights, what they can do, what they can enjoy, we could say. Because there is no proper education, everyone is willing to accept all the rights coming with their role, but they don't want to do their duties. They don't want to pay the price, and that's a problem. And when we hear about leadership, obviously Ramayana comes into mind, because Lord Ramachandra, incarnation of Krishna, expansion of Krishna, he is the perfect leader, the perfect king. And I would like to read something. I hope you can see it. Shubha Vilas Prabhu has this series of Ramayana books, and the second volume, this is about when it starts when Lord Ramachandra is selected to be the next king. We know that he won't be immediately, but he wrote about different kind of virtues which a leader, a king, should possess. And I would like to read this because it's better when I just read the English, not I try to speak. So let's start. So there is a short description in the beginning that Ayodhya citizens considered Rama as the greatest of all Ikshvaku kings. A great person is labeled prodigious only if he is a combination of three virtues: magnificent talent, so this is the first one, talent, right attitude, and spotless character. And Rama embodied all these virtues. And the first one, talent. Talent is like a sword, not to be merely admired, but to be actually used. Just as Rama's quiver is equipped with multiple arrows, his personality is equipped with multiferocious talents. I hope I pronounce it right, properly. So Rama not only knew all the Vedas by rote, he also knew how to apply them. His skillful use of all the celestial weapons was not an arrogant display of power, but a premeditated show of care. His excellence in singing was not superficial melody, but a love-awakening and hope-giving euphony. His oratory wasn't a long-winding river of discourse, but eloquent drops of nectar. His grasp of public administration was abetted by varied balance of reward to the virtuous and reprimand to the wicked, avoiding excess on either side. So here, connected to talent, we can see that he didn't just have theoretical knowledge, but he knew how to properly apply everything he had learned. The next one, attitude. So talent without the right attitude is like sweet rice without sugar. Talent brings one to the brink of the bridge to success, and right attitude helps one cross it. The symptom of disease of vanity is the desire to be approached by others rather than to approach others. The sweet smiling Rama vaccinated himself from the disease and initiated discussions using the elixir of humility. The symptom of the disease of intellectual snobbery is utmost self-reliance. Rama was immune to this disease because he gulped down the amalgam of submissive inquiry from three sources: the experienced, the wise, and the cultured. So the experienced is explained as those who possess the wealth of age. The second, the wise, is those who possess the wealth of knowledge. And the third, cultured, those who possess the wealth of character. The symptom of the disease of insensitivity is extreme self-concern and sheer indifference towards others. Ram was untouched by this disease because of the tonic of empathy he had obtained by partaking in the joys and suffering of his people. Rama kept his mind healthy with the vitamin of gratitude for all those who did him good, even if only once, and eliminated the toxins of lepsis toward him. So it's very nice that we can see that Lord Ram also heard what others' feelings, others' needs, others' concerns. So that's why he could properly lead the citizens, because he was sensitive to their needs. And the third one, character. Talent and attitude take one to success, but character helps one maintain it. Spotless character is a tripod of self-control, honesty, and integrity. Nature puts an ordinary piece of coal through extreme pressure to transform it into the most precious jewel. When an ordinary human happily subjects himself to the pressure of self-control, he transforms himself to a man of spotless character. An elephant who has 2 sets of teeth, a useless set of tusks just for show because these could not be used for eating, and another to actually chew food. Just like an elephant, a man who lacks integrity has 2 sets of value systems, one for preaching, high standards, and another for practice, compromised standards. Ram's life was an open book. He chose to embrace invaluable principles and demonstrate integrity rather than make a compromise for self-interest and personal convenience. Ram's connection with the truth was the same as a cuckoo's connection to its sweet song, pleasant and constant. So these are the qualifications of leaders, and we can see that it's not easy, and always the key point is that whose satisfaction is the goal. Because if someone is not self-controlled, then the own satisfaction will always be more important than the others, in this case, the citizens' satisfaction. And Srila Prabhupada had an interesting point about this. It was in a discussion called Shortcomings of Marxism. So he said that the point is that in any society, there must be a leader, there must be directors, and there must be workers. But everyone should be so satisfied that they forget the difference. And this is a very, very interesting point, that there is a difference, but because everyone is satisfied, because everyone's need is a bit different based on their nature, so they will forget the difference, because if someone is satisfied, because all the needs is satisfied, then there will be no problem. They won't see the differences. So here we could also read that satisfied citizens will never organize agitation against the king, and thus there was no need in changing the monarchical state. So the problem with this monarchical state was never that only one person leads, but the problem was that they didn't satisfy the needs of their citizens. And that connected to this point, there was another interesting point that there was a discussion. So Shyama Das said that the communists theorized that if the worker contributes to the central fund, he will get satisfaction in return. And Srila Prabhupada commented this, that yes, but if he sees imperfection in the center, he will not work enthusiastically because he will have no faith that he will get full satisfaction. So it's not enough to have one person in the center, but or idea or whatever, but the center has to be perfect. And that's the problem, that the only center can be Krishna, or someone who represents Krishna properly, perfectly. And when there is a king who can perfectly represent Krishna, then there will be no problem in the kingdom. So he continued that the perfection of the state will never be there, and therefore the workers will always remain dissatisfied. And there was another discussion explaining this point, also by Srila Prabhupada, that the difference is that if the state is not perfect, no one will willingly contribute to it. They may be forced to contribute, but they will not voluntarily contribute unless there is a perfect state in the center. For example, the hands, legs, and brain are working in perfect harmony for the satisfaction of the stomach. Why? Because they know without a doubt that by satisfying the stomach, they will all share the energy and also be satisfied. Therefore, unless the people have the kinds of perfect faith in the leader of the country, there is no possibility of a classless society. So, yeah, we can understand here also from this point that it's important to have someone in the center who is qualified and who is perfect, and then all the system will work out properly. So here in this verse we can see that because Maharaj Parikshit was a good and qualified king and made all these sacrifices according to the Vedas. So he had good relationship with the devas, with the demigods, and it was easy this way to properly take care of his citizens. And there is another point which I think usually we don't speak about this, because we like to discuss the qualifications of the leaders. But another point is the qualification of those who follow the leaders, because it's quite reasonable that the leaders have to have some qualification, but if they are not followed, then the system also won't work. So for the citizens, for those who follow the leaders, it's important to follow their duties. It's important even just to be able to follow someone, because there are people who are just not willing to follow anyone, so they won't be able to be part of a system like this. And these people also have to be able to be honest, to not be lazy, to endeavor do their duties, because if we the citizens don't do our responsibilities, then how can we expect that we will get qualified and proper leaders? So these are interesting points which are I think also should be considered, because we don't speak just about politicians here. We also speak about our spiritual leaders. If I'm not sincere, then how can I expect that I will have a bona fide good spiritual master? I'm not speaking about myself, because our spiritual master, I have full faith in him. But there are all these false gurus, and they have followers actually. So it's important that if we are not sincere, if we are not properly following, then we shouldn't expect that we will be worthy of a bona fide, good, qualified spiritual leader. And we should have we should endeavor for our own qualifications also. And yeah, I think I will just skip this next point. I just wanted to speak also a little bit about that there has to be some kind of trust for each other, both the leader and between the leader and those who leads. And if there is no mutual trust, then this relationship also won't work. And there are some points how we can build this trust. But I think we should just conclude, because time again has passed. So just to conclude this topic, that we can see that Maharaj Parikshit was a good and qualified king, but and he could satisfy the needs, and he could take care of the citizens. But also one reason for that, he could do this because he was also in shelter. So he had the shelter of his spiritual master, who gave him guidance. And because he was in proper shelter, he could also give shelter to others, to all those who lived in his country. So the main takeaway from this class is that we should seek shelter, and we should seek bona fide, qualified shelter, both in our spiritual life, but also in the material part of our lives, because that can cause difficulties. But it's also important how we can recognize what is qualified shelter. And the scriptures help us in this topic also. So thank you very much for your patience, and we can open up for a discussion.
Jai, thank you. Thank you so much for such a deep class, Mataji. Very nice. You covered so many important points about the shelter, surrender, bona fide spiritual master, the four varnas. And I really like your table, the way you split the qualities, roles, strength, and everything. And very nicely explained. So Scarlett Mataji was asking where she can find that document.
Oh, this sheet.
This is your personal.
Well, I made it. So
I know, I could see that. You've done it yourself.
yeah, yesterday I was translating, so English might not be the best, but if devotees are interested, I can send it to the conference. I think it's a bit too big for WhatsApp group.
Quite in detail, actually. Very nice. Thank you so much. And at the end, you also covered the qualities of a leader. So that was really nice to hear. I was quite engrossed in them. So thank you so much for the wonderful class in your association. Devotees, if you have any question, comments, realizations, please unmute yourself and ask. And it would be nice to take a darshan as well. So if you can, keep your cameras on as well. Thank you. Thanks. Hare Krishna. Yes, Shridevi Mataji, please go ahead.
Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Such an interesting class in which you have delineated so many different points, as Satyabhama said. But my question is about Lord Ram. You made those quotes about Lord Ram, which are so, important for us to assimilate and understand. So could you please tell me from which book you got that quote about Lord Ram?
Yeah, so this is the book, Conquer Change. This is the second volume Shubha Vilas Prabhu has a Ramayana series. And yeah, the title of the series is that Ramayana, the Game of Life, here on the top. And this is the second volume, which is Conquer Change, and it's in the beginning.
Okay. Could you read that quote just one more time, just so that I can note it down?
Which quote?
When you quoted about Lord Ram and his qualities.
Oh, but that was a long one. Or shall I read all of it?
No, just maybe the first few lines, so that then I can look it up and find it also. I can Google it.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, this Ayodhya's citizens considered Ram as the greatest of all Ikshvaku kings. A great person is labeled prodigious only if he is a combination of three virtues: magnificent talent, right attitude, and spotless character. Ram embodied all these virtues. You meant this one, and this is explained in details in the following parts. So these three were the talent, attitude, and character.
Talent, attitude, and character. Okay, thank you. Very nicely put together. Very nicely put together. I appreciate all the research and the hard work you put in to make this very relevant for us.
Thank you so much for encouraging.
Thanks, Devi Mataji. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna Mataji. I have a question. What is the difference between attitude and character?
Well, good question, because I'm I'm not such a it's for me it's a little bit language problems. That's why I read this part, but I just check out a little bit what was written in this part. So according to my understanding, this attitude is how we react. So it's the activity itself. So it might be that someone's character, I mean, which is the how to say, the desires, the tendencies, urges, and all these things combined, that's part of the character. So it means that how I feel, what are my reactions inside. I mean, what are the feelings coming up after some certain situation. But it might be that the attitude is different. The attitude is how I behave. So what is my reaction externally? So that's why it's mentioned here that it was that. So if someone's attitude is good, it can help us get to success. But because if the attitude is not in harmony with our character, with our inner urges, then we won't be able to maintain it. And that's why it said that that if the character is also good, then we can maintain success, because then it won't be an enforced reaction, enforced activity on our side, how we behave with in certain situations. So this is my understanding. But
Okay, Mataji, like I just want to put in words. So you are saying like character is basically our internal thinking, and attitude is basically external behavior. Is that correct?
yes.
Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thanks, Prabhu. Anyone else? So I have a question, Mataji. You mentioned that, when you were showing your table about 4 varnas, and you mentioned that any one varna can change their role. I think something you mentioned that, a Brahmana can be a Vaishya, or, Kshatriya. So how does that work? Because our nature is, how we maybe, I don't know how we can define. I think the varnas comes as per our nature and as per our upbringing, how we have, our education and everything that forms us, put us, one of the category out of 4. So, I'm assuming, like, for example, in Krishna consciousness, there are different types of, we are all coming from different background, different nature, different, our characters, as we can say. But I'm assuming that once we become a Krishna conscious, then we all Brahman. Then in Brahman as well, we can have a different.
Not really.
Okay,
Not
yeah, go
really.
on, please.
Following Brahminical standards is not the same as being a Brahmin. Because, for example, I will mention an example. So, for example, there is when we chant kirtan together, and this is a spiritual activity, even above the mode of goodness, and very much Brahminical. But for example, there are those devotees who are perfectly how to say, well aware of the meaning of the holy name and what this process is about. But still, for example, they like to do all these small musical details in it because that's so important for them. And one switch after another, and they are so perfect in it. And there are others who just go into one melody, no change, there are the kirtans when one melody for 3 hours or something like that. And this is because when someone has this artist mentality, and I very much like how Urmila Mataji expressed it, that because we have these preconceptions about all these varnas and hierarchy, no one wants to be a Shudra. so that's why she used all these other expressions. And so she said she referred to the Shudras as like artists or something like that because they are so much connected to matter, and they very much like to handle all these things. And music is also that type of thing, but others, painting beautiful paintings or stuff like that. This won't change. That when someone has this kind of tendency, that they just like to be connected to matter, and it's not a problem. This can be engaged in Krishna consciousness. So absolutely no problem with that. And if we are honest, actually most of us are Shudras because it's natural, because the workers are needed in the most numbers. So no problem with that. And nicely qualified Shudra can also go back to Godhead and have beautiful relationship with Krishna. So it's not a problem. But I don't know. I wanted to add something. Yeah, again, yeah. I remember that another thing is that Srila Prabhupada wanted us to follow the Brahminical principles. So sometimes Shudras are not so clean, but Brahmanas are clean. So he wanted us to follow these Brahminical principles, like being clean, being forgiving, being renounced, and all this stuff. So it's not like, oh, okay, they told me I'm a Shudra, I can be unclean, I can just, do all these things. So it's not like that. We have to follow these Brahminical principles. And for example, I very much liked, once I had to prepare of a verse when Bhishma Dev is on his deathbed, And all these sages, come to visit him in his last moments. And I was thinking that somewhere it was mentioned that Bhishma Dev was referred to, as I remember, as Brahma Rishi. But Bhishma Dev is a Kshatriya. So I was like, what, how is it? Because I thought that only Brahmanas can be Brahma Rishis, Rishi amongst the Brahmanas. But in this case, there is a Kshatriya. And he didn't change Varna because Vishwamitra, he changed his Varna in order to be a Brahma Rishi. But here is Bhishma Dev, who is referred as a Brahma Rishi, but he wasn't referred to a Brahmana anytime in the scriptures, as far as I know. So, but I remember I did some research, and there was a list that before going back to his family, that his mother arranged different kinds of education for him, and it was listed that which personality taught him different kind of things. And I don't remember who was the sage who did it, but someone taught Brahmanica principles to him. So that at least somehow explained this situation to me. So being a Brahmana and following Brahmanica standards is there is some context between them, but two separate things in one sense.
Makes sense. Thank you so much. What a wonderful answer. Thank you. And even Raghu Prabhu has also said the same thing, which I was thinking in my head as well, that thank you he is committed. Thank you for such a nice explanation on this question. Thank you.
Thank you for your encouragement. I'm always so afraid of questions.
You're so good at it answering, Mataji. You're too humble. So Revati Mataji was asking, can you please share what Mataji is reading if possible? Mataji is reading. So I think Revati Mataji, you're talking about the Ramayana book, which Mataji has already explained that. Which book is that?
Yeah, I thought, but I can show
Yeah,
it
sure.
again.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
I really like the
so-
title of the book. It's a Conquer Change, and forgiving and letting it go. What is the last line at the end? It was really good.
Thank you, Mataji. My humble obeisances. Sorry, I couldn't share my camera. Very beautiful class. I need to go back and listen. I joined late. I got that series, that book. I haven't read it, but I'll go back and read it. But I wanted that document which you shared, that all Varnas.
Yes.
yeah, I will send it out to the conference.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for wonderful questions, and thank you so much, Radhavinodini Mataji. It was really nice session. Thank you. Panchakalpataru Bescha, Pasindu Becha, Paritanam, Pamnabhyo, Vaishnavyo, Namo Namah. So we'll conclude here for today. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai.
Bye. Thank you. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Radhavinodini, and thank you, Satyabhama. Thank you to all the Vaishnavas.
Mataji, thanks for joining. Hare Krishna.